the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, on a wet Wednesday. We call it Wacky Wednesday here on ZiFM Sport. I hope that the weather was good for you wherever you are. If it wasn't, we're going to cheer up your day, brighten up your day with the team that's in the studio assembled. Mark Pozzo, Alois Bunjira, me, Barry Manandi, and of course, our producer, Sean Tafire Nyika. What can you look forward to on today's show? There is lots you can look forward to. And reports of a maize field spotted inside Gwanzura represented probably the lowest point of Zimbabwe's stadiums to date. And as if that wasn't enough, more shocking images of how the country's football stadiums have been left to rot and collapse have emerged, and tonight we examine the possible options to revive our country's stadiums and facilities.
In our international sport, one of the best to ever do it in the world of golf, Tiger Woods, has finally landed his opinion on the equipment debate by saying the game could become less enjoyable for amateurs and youngsters if equipment is changed. In Around the World in 60, we begin in Reggio Emilia, where Ferrari have launched their car they hope will finally bring Formula One's world title back to Italy. In Pennsylvania, Sixers coach Brett Brown said Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons combined to great effect to lead the Philadelphia to a statement home win against the LA Clippers. And in Las Vegas, Deontay Wilder believes Tyson Fury is scared and will be having sleepless nights before their next heavyweight title rematch next Saturday.
In the beautiful game, we kick off in England, where Mauricio Pochettino said he would love to work in the Premier League amid links with Manchester United. In Spain, Barcelona expect to be granted permission by the Royal Spanish Football Federation to sign an attacker outside of the transfer window after Ousmane Dembele was ruled out for 6 months. In Italy, Juventus president Andrea Agnelli has warned many of the team stars they face they're being axed from the club if performances do not improve. And in Germany, new Bayern Munich president Herbert Hainer has tipped young stars such as Joshua Zirkzee to make the step up from the academy and cut it as Bundesliga players. That and so much more to look forward to in this edition of ZiFM Sport. Wacky Wednesday, as we said at the top. Our power play is next.
The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis. From Rufaro to Barberfield, Mandava to Nyamunga, all the perfect moments in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League come together on ZiFM Sport.
Let's get after it here on ZiFM Sport, and today what we're getting after is the state of our stadiums. And we know the crew out at Zim Papers have come up with a hashtag. They have said fix our grounds. FOG is the hashtag that they're using, courtesy of Robson Sharuko. We'll hear from him a bit later on in the show concerning this matter. But a maize field reportedly spotted inside Gwanzura Stadium represented probably the lowest point of Zimbabwe's stadiums to date. And as if that wasn't enough, more shocking images of how the country's football stadiums have been left to rot and collapse have emerged. Gwanzura has not hosted a domestic premiership match in the last 5 years after the top flight league officials raised the red flag that their players could be exposed to diseases when raw sewage from the dressing rooms and public toilets began to flow onto the playing surface. It was great for the grass, not so good for the humans. Chibuku Stadium in Chitungwiza is also in an abominable state of disrepair 3 years after the authorities there turned down a proposed deal which would have seen Yada Stars renovate the stadium into what the club owner, Prophet Walter Magaya, said would be a reasonable football ground. So, the state of our stadiums is not good. Team at Zim Papers have started a hashtag fix our grounds, FOG. Let's hear from the Herald's senior sports editor, Robson Sharuko, who spoke about the grim reality of the country's stadia.
I think we have reached the point of no return in terms of our stadiums, because if you look at the way that we let them to vote, even when you consider the renovations, the cost of renovations that is needed, it's almost like you are building a new stadium. So the blame is upon us because we have let things deteriorate. Those who were tasked with maintaining the facilities turn a blind eye to their responsibilities. And it's a shame because you understand there are people whose day job is to make sure that the maintenance of those facilities is up to scratch. And these people, for one reason or another, decided to look the other side while the facilities were deteriorating. And the Harare City Council in this case is one big factor in all of this, because the Harare City Council charges the Premier Soccer League clubs 20% of their gross get takings. If you look at the way that the payment is structured, it's meant to be invested in the maintenance of the stadiums. But I doubt whether that money comes back into the maintenance, because we have seen just a lack of responsibility, and it's a shame that as a country our stadiums have reached these levels where we are now banned by CAF from hosting international matches.
All right, now possibly Robson ends where we will start, and that is a few weeks ago we talked about a story here, Bunj, where Zimbabwe was threatened with the grim reality of possibly hosting international matches away from home. In other words, outside the country, when CAF did their inspection of our grounds and said that Barberfields could host matches. It wasn't perfect, but in the interest of matches actually taking place in country, they said Barberfields is probably at a decent level. But fix your grounds, or you're going to have to play matches outside of Zimbabwe, possibly in Polokwane or somewhere outside of the country. That is what we are faced with. Now, when we go down onto the ground and look at the stadiums, they're in a shocking state, aren't they?
They are. They are in a shocking state. We have spoken about it. Even when the league games were going on, you remember I was excited when Net1 took over the refurbishment of Trojan Stadium, and I thought, welcome.
Here we go.
This is 2020, 2019. We are going to see a state-of-the-art stadium in Trojan. But what happened? They only painted the goalposts, painted the dressing rooms, and that was it. And it was done, and it was ready. So I was like, what was the refurbishment all about? Where we thought that they were going to put stands, they were going to put the TV stands, for the cameras, to qualify to make it a standardized stadium. But no, they just wanted a stadium where players can just trot and play like we're playing Mamani game and all that. And so that's the shocking reality that we have in Zim.
And right there is the problem, isn't it, Pos? Wherein you've got the committee at ZIFA that homologates or approves the use of stadiums, going across and saying Trojan Stadium is not good enough, and then going back a bit later after the painting and the spruce up that Bunj talked about has been done, and saying now the stadium is fit for use, and yet not much has changed. That's part of the problem, is it, that we're accepting things that are below, that are subpar? Yes,
but I also believe that this has come too late.
Yeah.
This should have been dealt with years ago.
Yeah.
We knew about this a long time ago. It's sad when you look at stadiums like Gwanzura and Chibuku Stadium. Those stadiums could have been saved long ago, and it goes back to the councils of these particular stadiums. As far as I'm concerned, they are to blame. As much as ZIFA have now come up with a criteria to say this is the way a stadium needs to comply for safety and for the betterment of football going forward. That's all very well, but are these councils, what are they doing with the money?
Yeah.
Where is the money going?
And
as far as I'm concerned, if you want my honest opinion, I would have these stadiums taken away from every single council.
And given to who, though, Pos?
They should be privatized. They should be leased to management property companies that can actually go in there, revamp the stadium, and take ownership of the stadium, and then lease them to the clubs for matches.
Bloody good point. And in truth, what you've got is that the city councils are running these stadiums. So for Gwanzura and Zvarasekwa, we're looking squarely at the Harare City Council. Now, after those images occurred and were published in the H Metro, we saw the city council rush members of their team across to Gwanzura Stadium and pull up some weeds that had grown within the stands, not on the pitch or anything, in the stands. That's what they dealt with. So they're doing a bit of a spruce up. Then when you look at Chibuku, that's Chitungwi's town council. For me, I think that stadiums are not core business for the councils. Lease them out to individuals, to companies, to corporates, of which that is their core business. You will still make your money. I think that model certainly works. It's a model that's being used in South Africa, and it's working.
Yeah, it really does. It does work, Barry. And what the Harare City Council is doing now is just because it has been exposed, they start running around. I saw a post from the Facebook page saying that the engineer, the town clerk himself is standing in front. They say that let's fix our stadium. But where were they all this time? We spoke about it a long time ago. Rufaro Stadium was not banned this time. Was not banned together with the National Stadium. It was banned a long time ago,
for sure,
long before the National Sports Stadium. But where were they? They just sat back and said it's fine. We complained about the drainage system at Rufaro Stadium, about the turf and all that. They said
we've relayed it.
Middle finger, I don't know.
Yes,
that was it, because there was nothing that was done. We were just going along, and we knew all along that this is bad. The leasing of the stadium, Chibuku Stadium, the council refused.
Makaya,
yeah, they refused. But what did they do with it? They refused and sat on it.
Yeah, so I mean,
how does that help?
I'm no fan of the guy, but you know what? The guy came forward and was willing to put money into a stadium.
Yes.
And revamp it. And they turn around and say, no, because obviously somebody's palm isn't being greased.
Yeah.
You know, guys, we've got to put this. We've got to look at this into the future. Look at stadiums in South Africa, the FNB Stadium. Why is it called the FNB Stadium? Because FNB have bought the naming rights for the stadium. They have pumped money into that stadium to keep it going and upkeep the stadium.
And apart from that, pause.
So
also,
if I want to take over a stadium and call it the ZiFM Sports Ignition Stadium, that's my indaba.
Yeah.
If that's what I want to do, and that's where I'm going to generate money to sort out the infrastructure and get the stadium to a respectable place, then that's what I'm going to do.
And I think it's pertinent for us to go through the numbers. I mean, it's estimated that the various councils, that's Harare City Council, Bulawayo City Council, and for the National Sports Stadium, they have received a combined $644,000 for the past
What dollars?
premiership season.
What's that going to do?
We only have one currency.
But what's that going to do?
No, but hold the phone. But they are earning. They're earning. Do you know what, Pause? If you are fixing little things as you go,
and just
the
maintaining
amount that you're spending is very little on a week-by-week basis. Remember, there's a game at Rufaro Stadium every single weekend, some weekends too. Then there's a game at the Barberfield Stadium every single weekend, sometimes too. National Sports Stadium, ditto. So it's a question of not that this has come as a lump sum, but what have you been doing with the funds that you're receiving on a week-by-week basis? I want to go back to the South African model. Now, the first thing that the councils, the government, the local government did in South Africa is that they let those stadiums out to a company called the Stadiums Company of South Africa. All right, so it is their job, it is their form and function to wake up every morning and think about how they can improve the facilities at the stadiums. One of the ways that they do that is that they earn money through naming rights, which is what you mentioned, Paz, whereby you can now sell the naming rights because now it's an asset that everybody wants to come to. Nobody wants to put their name on Rufaro Stadium because at the moment it's in a deplorable state.
We went through this the other day. Who would want to go to Rufaro Stadium? Who would want to park their car there?
when you've got potatoes being sold in the car park.
Exactly. In fact,
they're selling potatoes.
Did you also see that? I drove past the other day and there was, come on,
There's
guys.
a potato market.
I mean, do you see that? Do you see that at Anfield? Do you see that at Old Trafford?
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
So I think there needs to be some specialization. The city council has proven over and over again. The city councils, let me say that, have proven over and over again that they I think they just lack the capacity or the focus to manage the stadiums. Let's give that job to people who are assigned to that. And you know what? The lease can be exactly the amount that they're earning right now from those facilities. So they're not losing anything. They're actually gaining and being able to allocate human resources to another area. 0731 168 045. Send us your Nutri-Active hashtags, but also let us know your thoughts on the subject that we are discussing, our stadiums. It was sparked by some pictures that were taken at Gwanzura Stadium and published in the H Metro of, I think it was on Monday, and the story has just gained momentum and is one that is concerning all of us in the world of sport.
Just quickly before we move on, this doesn't just apply to football, guys.
Yep.
I noticed on social media this morning, Kirsty Coventry did a tour of some venues yesterday.
Yes, I saw that.
The Chitungwiza Aquatic Centre, dismal.
Can it be called that?
The hockey stadium.
There's no more water there. It can't be aquatic anymore.
The hockey stadium. Come on.
The hockey stadium. You look at even our facilities. We talked about the facilities for netball. For netball. Well. The netball center. So just maintenance is becoming a massive problem. Well, one man who's coming and trying to maintain and even improve not our facilities but our style of play with the national team is our new national team head coach. Now, a quick update out of ZiFM says that the football governing body has secured a work permit for the new Warriors coach Zdravko Logarsic. The association said the work permit was secured on Monday, and Loga is now expected in the country next week to start working on his new project. The Croat was a surprise pick for the Warriors job, but he insists he will prove the doubters wrong. We hope that he certainly proves us wrong.
Hi, my name is Sean Williams, Zimbabwe cricket captain. You're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Z.
Right, to the cricket field where the International Cricket Council and Zimbabwe Cricket have begun engagements that are set to culminate in Zimbabwe hosting more international events following the successful staging of the World Cup qualifiers in 2018. Zimbabwe hosted the 2019 Men's World Cup qualifiers in Bulawayo and Harare. The matches attracted large crowds throughout the tournament as the ICC starts planning for the next 8-year cycle between 2023 and 2031. The ICC have engaged ZC and the government. To athletics and athletics coach David Tinago believes his athletes are now in a good position to try and qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Tinago is one of the coaches who've been working with locally based athletes in their build-up to try and qualify for the Games, and they begin the competition phase with 2 competitions in South Africa. The events are to begin on Saturday in Potchefstroom, and the AGN League track and field is slated for the 25th of February in Pretoria. To netball, and the Zimbabwe Netball Association and some members of its executive face deregistration and suspension by the Sports and Recreation Commission after defying an order to hold an elective Congress before the 31st of January. The order by the country's supreme sports body was issued last November, but Zina chose to ignore it. SRC Director General Prince Mapovaziro said the issue was now being handled by the board's renowned lawyer Gerald Malochwa.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Right, Tiger Woods has waded into the distance debate in golf and fears the game could become less enjoyable for amateurs and youngsters if equipment is changed. Woods appeared divided with his opinions on the findings of the Distance Insight Project report published by the RNA and USGA, in which they concluded that further increases in average hitting distances would be undesirable and detrimental to the game's future. Before we discuss it, let's hear from the man himself, Tiger Woods.
The game of golf, is fluid. It's moving. The golf ball is certainly going a lot further than the old Blada days. We've changed from using a tree to using high-tech metal. We've come a long way in this game, and what's been crazy is that I've been a part of all that. My career, when I first started, I beat Davis Love in a playoff, and he was using a persimmon driver. To see the technology advances as fast as it has, the average distance was, when I first came out on tour, if you could carry it 270, it took a lot of trouble out of play. Now guys are hitting their hybrids and 5 woods 270 in the air. So the game has evolved and has changed, and we're running out of property. Trying to design golf courses that are, from the back 7,800 to 8,000 yards. It's difficult. But on top of that, we want to keep the game so enjoyable, and we're trying to get more participation and having, the larger heads, more forgiving clubs. It adds to the enjoyment of the game. So there's the very delicate balancing act where we're trying to keep the game at, but also, as we've all recognized, the players have changed over the years too. When I first came out, it was just VJ and myself in the gyms, and now it seems like everyone has their own trainer and physios, and guys have gotten bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, and just like all sports.
So, I think he talks sense here.
He does. He's however addressing some things that he himself caused, because if we all remember when Tiger came out, we were all marveling at how long he was off the tee, and everyone was trying to catch up with Tiger, and then he started going into the gym and he became even longer, and so both the issue of improved equipment and indeed the stronger players are as a direct result of the Tiger Woods era. Brooks Koepka, your Rory McIlroys, all of those players, in my view, are all a consequence of the Tiger Woods era. So
fair point.
It's a bit of the pot in the kettle, isn't it? and I agree that the game needs balance, because if I'm an amateur and I can bomb a 300-meter drive, what I'm doing is I'm killing the game simply because I can afford to buy the top-level clubs. So, yes, there needs to be that balance, but this is a problem that was caused by people like Tiger Woods.
But on the other hand, it's also, I think it's good because it's also made people become more healthier and better athletes.
It's true.
Because suddenly they think, well, if I go to the gym or I do some exercise before I play golf, I'm going to hit the ball further, and I'm going to feel good. I'm going to manage to walk 18 holes of golf, and I'm going to feel strong, and I'm going to play well. Yeah. So on the other hand, I think that's achieved something.
Yeah, it has. But what it's done for the courses is that, let's take, for instance, Borrowdale Brook Golf Club. It stays Borrowdale Brook Golf Club, and the lengths remain the same. It's not getting any longer.
Nah.
So now that Poz can drive the number 13 par 4 is a problem for them, because now Poz is going down in 2 shots, albeit that Poz is not even a pro, simply because he's got the right equipment. So again, it's that delicate balance that needs to be managed.
Okay, let's hear from Martin Slumbers, the chief executive of the RNA, who explains why the Distance Insights report has been issued to tackle the growing hitting distance in golf.
So if hitting distance continues, so will golf courses grow. And that is inevitable. And in the modern society that we live in, we have a responsibility and concerns around water usage, around fertilizers, around pesticides, and generally the relationship of golf, footprint of golf courses and the environment. And what I'm proposing here is that the cycle of increases in hitting distance needs to come to an end. We think it's detrimental to the future of the game, and to the traditions and balance in the game of golf. We fundamentally believe golf is a game of skill, and that as hitting distance has grown, the variety of skills needed has changed.
Right, so the report acknowledges that the average driving distance from both main tours combined has increased by a rate of 1 yard per since 2013. With the 20 longest hitters in 2019 averaging 310 yards with a driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Your Rory McIlroys can hit 320 easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Now, improved athleticism of the world's best players and, of course, conditioning are also amongst the contributing factors to the increases. But the RNA and the USGA have vowed to investigate how they can combat the trend they have described as detrimental to golf's long-term future. It's something that is a debate that will go on and on forever, I would think.
I would say stop it. The improvements in the distances you can get out of the equipment needs to stop, because your body can only improve so much. So that we can't control. But what we can control, let's control the equipment and the development thereof, and keep those distances to where they are golf is exciting already. Let's not get players longer simply by giving them better equipment.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We start in Reggio Emilia. Ferrari have launched the car they hope will finally bring Formula One's world titles back to Italy in a grand and dramatic reveal of their car at the 1,000-seat Romolo Valli Theatre in Reggio Emilia. The new SF1000 became the first 2020 Challenger to be unveiled in the flesh. Ferrari have insisted their new contender features some very extreme concepts compared to last year's SF90 as they bid to catch world champions Mercedes. In Miami, Sixers coach Brent Brown said Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons combined to great effect to lead Philadelphia to a statement home win against the LA Clippers. Embiid supplied 26 points and 9 rebounds, while Simmons produced a 26-point, 12 rebound and 10 assist triple-double as the 76ers rolled to a 110-103 victory at Wells Fargo Center, improving their league best home record to 25 wins and 2 losses. We'll land in Las Vegas, where Deontay Wilder believes Tyson Fury is scared and will be having sleepless nights before their world heavyweight title rematch. The pair fight in Las Vegas next Saturday for Wilder's WBC championship. Their bout in December 2018 ended in a controversial draw, with the American knocking Fury down twice, although the Englishman also thought he had won. Both men are unbeaten, with their draw in Los Angeles 14 months ago being the only time they have not won a professional fight. A record is also up for grabs in Las Vegas.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. Kickstart your day.
Right, introducing Polenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge, a convenient, nutritious meal that gives you the perfect start to your day. Simply mix it with warm milk or water and enjoy the goodness of healthy, tasty porridge. Now, every day on ZiFM Sport, Polenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge will be dishing out at the Daily Sports Trivia, where you can win big.
Good evening, Manson, out in Chizzy. Good evening to you, matey.
Hey, mate, what's up?
How's the wet weather treating you?
Got cold.
It's a little bit chilly as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Manson, what team do you support here in Zimbabwe and then, of course, overseas?
It's about Caps United.
Caps United. And outside the country?
Manchester United.
Manchester United. You are Alois Bunjira by another name.
Yes.
Because you're Caps and Manchester United. You guys will make very good friends. Now, let's see if you won't disappoint Mr. Bunjira. Are you ready to answer 2 questions for me?
Yeah, born ready.
Oh, that's my man. I like your work, brother. I like your work. Let's see if you can do it. Right. Out of the great city of Harare, where is Gwanzura Stadium?
Gwanzura Stadium.
Is it in Mufakose, B, in Chitungwiza, or is it C, in Highfields?
Highfield.
Yeah, good man.
Well done.
Congratulations. You're half the way there, brother. Second question. A standard round of golf consists of how many holes? Is it A, 18, B, 20, or C, 16?
I'll go with 16.
Manson. Yeah, shall we give him another chance, Bunch?
He's like,
I knew you'd say that. Okay, so we've eliminated 16. That means you got 2 choices. Is it either 18 or is it 20? 16 is wrong.
All right. 18.
That's a better guess.
Well done.
And you have to thank Mr. Bunjira. Nice one, Manson. You're in our draw for the end of the month. In fact, the draw will be taking place earlier than that. We'll advise you keep listening to the show, and we'll let you know when the draw is taking place.
All right.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. Kickstart your day. Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say your way.
Operator.
0731-168-045. That's 0731-168-045. That's our number in the studio. And you can be like concerned sports fan who's gotten in touch on our WhatsApp platform. Zimbabwean sports are not taken seriously by authorities. If infrastructure is in shambles, how can we demand improved performances from our teams? #sport is dying. That's a very pertinent point. It's no accident that where the best facilities are, you get the best performances from the sports teams.
Correct.
Of course. You know, I think we were misled by that issue that you know, we grew up in the ghetto. We used to play soccer in the dusty streets of where. So those things are the ones that actually like clouded our judgment and think that we can actually do. That was by default. It was not the ideal thing. The world has moved away from those things. They'll tell you that the Brazilians are playing in slums and all that. No, they're now academies in Brazil, in Argentina. They're now playing in grass and artificial turf and all that. So those days are long gone. We are still stuck in that I know what, as long as they can play, they wait. So he is very right that, you know, football has moved, the sport has moved away from all those things now. It is now international, it is now up there, so that we need those facilities and all that. So we are being let down.
We certainly are. Mike Irulai has gotten in touch and he says the stadium issues are a real crisis. Things are just haywire. Cry, my beloved country. Mandava Nduyega Stadium Irkushanda. Thanks for getting in touch, Mike in Bulawayo. And in truth, Bunja, I was shocked. We had a player who went across to the DRC on trial with a team over the FC Lupopo. And a team like FC Lupopo, their training complex actually has 2 artificial turfs and then a grass pitch as well. Now, that is the level at which a team in the DRC, one of the big 3 obviously, or is it big 4? It's big 3. Because it's TP Mazembe, AS Vito Club, and then FC Lupopo. One of the big 3 has a training complex that has artificial pitches and then of course a grass pitch. That's how seriously they're taking their football, and you can see where they're headed.
That's how far behind we are. You know, that's how far behind we are. We are still stuck in, I don't know in what year. You know, there is a listener who actually is uploading FC Platinum for Mandava Stadium. Yes. It's still not up to scratch. It was not homologated as well by CAF. It's part of. But why did they build a stadium that can't be homologated by CAF when they've got ambitions to play in the CAF Champions League? 3 years
not
now.
Ambitions, they are playing.
They are playing at Baba Fields. Don't they have the money to upgrade their stadium? I think they have, but it's just a lack of vision and ambition.
All right, this one comes from Teacher B in Bonda Mission. He says Harare City Council should maintain all the stadia under their jurisdiction for the money they get from gate takings that'll keep them financially afloat. Others cry foul that they are financially crippled. They continue to cry about that, but they're getting funds from the gate takings. And in truth, fix what you can. Even if it means it's one bathroom stall, then let's see that fixed, and let's see that you have the commitment to move things forward. Cry, our beloved stadiums.
Alcohol may be hazardous to health if consumed to excess. The operation of machinery or driving after the consumption of alcohol is not advisable. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years. From the first people to take beer and brew it extra cold, from the people that trapped a blizzard in a bottle, comes the next step in the extra cold evolution. Like the first person to move their feet and call it dancing. Like the first man to dance backwards and call it the moonwalk. It's one extra cold step for beer, but one massive extra cold leap for beer kind. Introducing the Castle Light 660. Enjoy an extra cold first of its kind.
We are your station of choice, the People's Station, ZiFM Stereo.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. All the rivalry.
Here is Harry Kane for Tottenham. Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane. Catch him if you can.
All the stars.
Oh, back here's Liverpool 2 in front. Talk about impudence. Talk about improvisation. Talk about Sadio Mane.
And all the game-changing moments.
And Raheem Sterling rattles it home. And once more, City are in front in a trice.
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
All right, right now, Maurizio Pochettino said he would love to work in the Premier League again, as the former Tottenham manager continues to be linked with Manchester United. Pochettino led Tottenham to the Champions League final last season, but was sacked in November and replaced by Jose Mourinho. Barcelona emerged as a possible destination for Pochettino until the La Liga champions turned to Quique Setien. However, links to United refused to subside. Pochettino is reportedly keen on the United job, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer struggles at Old Trafford, where the Red Devils are 8th and 6 points adrift of the top 4. Here's the man.
I would love to work in the Premier League. It's true that it's going to be difficult, but now is a moment to wait and we'll see what happens. Now is a moment to recovery, to think about yourself a little bit, and of course being ready, because in football always something can happen and you need to be ready. And if appears the opportunity, and of course I am ready, waiting for the new challenge with. Of course, with the belief and confidence that the new challenge is going to be fantastic.
How flattering is it to be linked to jobs at, say, Manchester United?
Yeah, but I was in Argentina, I was in Qatar, I was in Spain, and I have Jesus that follow a little bit the news, but I try to be away. But always I write these rumors, and in football today I think all the coaching staff we accept that rumor are there and appear, and I think we deal natural with all the rumors today.
The voice there of Mauricio Pochettino, of course, the former Tottenham Hotspur manager. And on tomorrow's show, we've got the full interview for you on the show here. It is absolutely fascinating. He talks about football in general, and of course speaks about his future as a manager and the desire to coach in England. The desire to coach in England seems to be directed and pointing at Manchester United. As a United fan, before you put on your pundit's hat, Bunj, your thoughts?
I'm not feeling it. He's a good coach, yes, but for United, I don't want that disruption. We did it. We panicked. We got LVG after David Moyes. Yeah. Yes, we panicked when David Moyes went wrong, and we brought in LVG, and we started bringing coaches differently. We wanted instant success, and it didn't happen. And if we go the same route of trying to get instant success again, we might just hit a snag. We brought Jose Mourinho, it didn't happen. LVG, those are top coaches, it didn't happen. So I think the route that Ole has taken,
stay with Ole.
Stay with Ole for a few more years, even if he doesn't win things. Then when this team that he's trying to build is stable, we can actually bring in a coach now that can actually cross the line with these boys, because I want him to continue with what he has done now, bring in those boys, because I promise you, these Greenwood boys, if there was a big coach, Jose Mourinho or Ancelotti, they were not going to bring up these boys. They were going to ask for money to go out there and buy. So what we're doing now at Manchester United, I'm going with it.
Let's give him another 2 years. Does football, in the modern era, give you that opportunity to be in the wilderness, not win anything for 3 years, and be okay with it? Does it give you that latitude?
No, it doesn't.
But especially in the commercial. Hold the phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, but okay, let's contextualize. Liverpool went 30 years without winning the Premier League trophy. Liverpool was winning trophies. Liverpool was winning the Champions League. They're winning the FA Cup, and at this stage, I can't see this United side winning anything.
You're saying you can't, but we just won 2 years ago. We won the FA Cup.
Under who?
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not like.
But you won the FA Cup. You're not
under a winner. You won the FA Cup under a winner.
Hang on, Bunch. Hang on, Bunch.
What is it?
Manchester United are there to. They've been taught the way to win. Sir Alex Ferguson. By Sir Alex Ferguson.
Fergie.
They came in there. They won however many titles.
We took a step back. We accepted it. We accepted that this team is not going anywhere. That's why I said we brought in LVG, because we wanted to maintain.
But then who's going to go and play for them if they just become an average team?
We brought in Jose Mourinho because we wanted that. We have seen that this is and working. So we have made peace with it.
Can I ask
and
you?
Say, you know what? Let's take a step back.
Okay, Bunch.
We're not going to win anything this coming 2 years.
Stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his direction of promoting the youngsters. Does that squad full of youngsters and academy products compete with a squad like Manchester City? Because you know that Pep Guardiola is going to gut the Manchester City lineup, and he's going to bring massive players, big game players.
Because he's failed after one season.
Look, the way you're putting it, a squad full of these youngsters, no, that's not the way it is. He is bringing a few and bringing in other experienced players who have bought. He also bought, but he is bringing that they're making a team that is going to compete. It's not now. Yes, now they're not going to compete with Manchester City, but in 2 years' time, Greenwood is going to be a phenomenal player. How big is going to be Rashford in 2 years' time? This is what we look. Sometimes there is a time to
you know what the good thing is.
Say, let's go and start afresh and do this. The
Mr. Munjira.
Mr. Munjira. Class of 92.
Yeah.
Did he just bring in David Beckham and all them and they won?
A different era. That was a completely different era.
Different era, same method. It still works.
Yeah, that method now
it does work.
The great thing about this is that you're saying in 2 years we're going to see a different Mason Greenwood. The good thing is that in 2 years' time we'll both still be here, and then we'll have this discussion.
We will.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic. All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wanted!
Right, we stop off in Spain, where Barcelona expect to be granted permission by the Royal Spanish Football Federation to sign an attacker outside of the transfer window after Ousmane Dembele was ruled out for 6 months due to injury. The Spanish champions opted against bringing in a forward in January when Luis Suarez was ruled out for 4 months, but were left short in attack last week when Dembele ruptured a tendon in training. Dembele underwent surgery in Finland, and it's the 9th injury the Frenchman has suffered since joining from Borussia Dortmund for €125 million in 2017.
Now, a lot of people will be asking how come they will be allowed to make a signing outside the regular transfer window. Well, Dembele will be missing for more than 5 months. That's the minimum amount of time required in order for clubs to be allowed to make an emergency signing. So they're going to make that signing under the emergency protocol.
Just one game in Copa del Rey. First leg semi-final tonight. Athletic Club will take on Grenada.
All right, over to Italy, where Juventus president Andrea Agnelli has warned many of the team stars they face being axed from the club if performances do not improve. After visiting the club's Continassa training centre, the Bianconeri slumped to a surprise 2-1 defeat at Hellas Verona on Saturday, allowing title rivals Inter Milan to return to the Serie A summit following victory in the Milan derby the following day. So there could be blood on the dance floor out at Juventus.
Right, Inter host Napoli in the first leg of the semi-final of the Coppa Italia tonight. It represents the last chance saloon for silverware for the Neapolitanians, while Inter continue their crusade on 3 separate fronts after the winter break. Fixtures in Italy come to a relentless pace, with both sides playing in their 8th game in the space of a month. A lot of football in Italy.
A lot of football in Italy. And finally, we'll wrap it up in the Bundesliga in Germany, where new Bayern Munich president Herbert Hainer has tipped Joshua Zirkzee, Leon Dajaku, Oliver Batista Meyer and Sarpreet Singh to all make the step up from the academy and cut it at Bundesliga players.
Up.
Yes, they will step up, Bunch, but let me tell you, it's a different time. You still need the experienced players to be there and in amongst those players in order to make sure that they progress at the rate that they ought to. And for me, Manchester United doesn't have enough of that quality and experience to make a sizable dent on what are becoming shocking clubs. Be careful of one club, Wolves.
We are not out
Wolves
to
could
dent
potentially
anybody. We are building a strong squad.
Wolves could potentially become the new United. That is what you need to be afraid of. We're going to continue this conversation in the car park. If you want to participate in that conversation, you can catch us on social media. You know our handles. For now, we gotta go. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Menande, out.